Hello everyone, I'm Rafa. Have you ever found yourself hiding parts of who you are, the raw, unpolished aspects of yourself, because you thought they weren't good enough, or because they didn't fit the version of yourself you felt others expected? Perhaps you suppress who you are. Some of your thoughts, wishes, and vulnerabilities, thinking they'll make you less worthy of love, success, and happiness. We often bury parts of ourselves, either consciously or unconsciously, because we've been taught that only a certain kind of person, one who fits neatly into societal expectations, is worthy of these things. But what if, in trying to shield ourselves from judgment, we are missing out on discovering the very things that can bring us true happiness? In reality, these ideal kinds of people are a facade. Why would we want to have a fake life in which we can't express ourselves? That keeps us away from who we are. We're all human beings, and it's precisely in being human beings that we vary from each other. It's where our uniqueness, our creativity, and our humanity lie. Yet, society teaches us to hide these parts of ourselves, urging us to conform, to achieve, and to be someone else. The constant pressure to measure up to an ideal, to chase after an image of perfection, often makes us to forget what it truly means to be happy. True happiness, as it turns out, is not found in fitting into a mold, but in embracing our authentic selves, imperfections and all. Humans are imperfect. Clarice Lispector often explored themes of self-identity, human vulnerability, and the search for truth in her work. Her characters frequently grapple with the tension between their inner worlds and the expectations imposed by society. She wrote with raw honesty, confronting the complexities of a human emotion and the difficulty of truly understanding oneself. One of her most powerful quotes reads, "I am what I am, and I am not what I am because I am. I don't have the courage to say I am, but I do not let myself fall into the absurdity of not being. The contradiction is the force of life itself, a force that doesn't fit into any order or structure. Life is only authentic when it's uncertain, when it's a search." This phrase encapsulates the paradox of being a human, the tension between the need to define ourselves and the freedom found in embracing uncertainty. She confronts the contradiction that lies at the heart of existence. We are constantly in a state of becoming, constantly shifting, and it's only through accepting this ambiguity that we can find our way. It's in the life flow that we access our hidden gems. In many ways, her writing reflects the very act of letting go of perfection and existing in life as it is, something that each of us struggles with in our own way. Since childhood, we are taught that there are ways to be, ways to act, and ways to look that society deems acceptable. These values, passed down by family, the media, etc., shape our beliefs about what makes us worthy of love and success. We grow up believing that happiness is something we must earn by living up to these ideals, by achieving, by fitting in, and by appearing perfect. Yet, in striving for this perfection, we often lose sight of the very things that makes us humans. Our flaws, our uniqueness, and our vulnerabilities. These are the aspects of ourselves that are often hidden, and we struggle to meet external expectations, thinking they are the key to fulfillment. The pursuit of perfection is exhausting and futile. We're constantly bombarded with images of perfect lives, idealized bodies, flawless achievements, and constant success. In this quest to measure up, we find ourselves chasing after an illusion, constantly moving further away from our authentic selves. The truth is that perfection isn't real, and it certainly isn't the key to happiness. Our strengths lie into embracing our whole selves when we let go of the need to conform and behave, and instead we allow ourselves to simply be as we are. As Lispector suggests in her works, true fulfillment is found not in the mastery of life's contradictions, but in accepting them. Life, she implies, is a search, an uncertain, shifting path toward a truth that can never be fully captured, only felt. Vulnerability and uncertainty aren't weaknesses, they are the raw material of existence. We are often in the search of a meaning we can never fully grasp, yet that very search is what makes life worth living. The constant need for validation to meet the expectations of others leads us away from our true essence. When we stop seeking approval and start embracing ourselves, uncertainties, contradictions, and all, we allow ourselves to find the true gems of happiness. Our desire to hide our true selves often stems from a deep seated fear of rejection. We fear that if we show the world who we truly are, we won't be loved or accepted. We hide our vulnerabilities, believing that they make us weak or unworthy of connection. But the irony is that in trying to protect ourselves from rejection, we often end up rejecting the most powerful parts of who we are. By presenting a version of ourselves that we think will be accepted, we deprive ourselves from the real connections we crave. As Lispector illustrates through her characters, the fear of rejection is a powerful force. We want validation for the comfort of being accepted for who we are, but in seeking this validation externally, we lose the ability to validate ourselves. Clarice says, "I am the one who talks to myself, who cannot live without questions, who cannot live without a distance. I am the one who confronts her own unknown." This confrontation with the unknown, the willingness to embrace the contradictions and complexities within ourselves, is where true growth and connection lie. By seeking approval from others, we measure our worth against their standards. But this only leaves us dissatisfied because no external validation can replace the fulfillment that comes from knowing and accepting ourselves. True connection, whether it is with others or with ourselves, can only happen when we stop hiding and start being honest about who we are. And when we embrace our vulnerability, we attract those who see us for who we truly are, not for the version we've crafted to please them. When we hide our true selves, we miss out on the treasures that lie within. Our flaws and imperfections are not burdens to be ashamed of. They are the very things that makes us humans and gives us depth and character. The gems of our existence are often hidden within the parts of us we most fear to expose. But when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to reveal these hidden aspects, we begin to uncover the beauty and wisdom that we've been suppressing for so long. When we stop hiding, we allow ourselves to connect with these hidden gems. We let go of the need to be perfect and embrace the complexity of our humanity. And it's in doing so we unlock the potential for real happiness, not the happiness that comes from meeting external expectations, but the joy that comes from not behaving and just being who you are. Our culture tells us that perfection is the ultimate goal, that happiness lies in achieving a flawless existence. But this is a lie. Perfection is unattainable, and chasing it only leads us to frustration. Life is not about achieving perfection. It's about finding peace in the messiness, in the uncertainty, and in the process of becoming. Perfectionism, while often praised, is a cage. It keeps us locked in a never-ending cycle of striving, of constantly measuring ourselves against an impossible standard. But when we let go of the need to be perfect, we make room for courage. We stop chasing after an ideal that doesn't exist and begin to exist with pleasure. And it is in this courage to give yourself pleasure that true happiness is found. Lispector's work reminds us that life is a journey of discovery, of building up courage to go for the unknown. Happiness, she suggests, is not something we can achieve through external success or perfection. It is something we must create within ourselves by finding out who we truly are. When we stop running from what excites us and start exploring, we open the door to true happiness. Pleasure in being who we are is a deeply transformative and empowering experience that many of us, unfortunately, overlook or suppress throughout our lives. In a world that demands perfection and conformity, we often mask our true selves. Perhaps we become afraid of our desires, believing they are obstacles to our success as a well-behaved person. Why are you afraid of what excites you? What's the unknown you carry you don't want to look at? Perhaps your transformation, when you allow it to happen, will change every aspect of your life as it is. The unknown is scary. This is why you have to be courageous and allow yourself to experience this act of liberation. Embrace the richness of your complexity. Realize that our desires are not things that need to be fixed, but rather they are the unique attributes that makes us us. The act of self-acceptance becomes a form of self-love, a gentle and compassionate recognition of our humanity. It's here, in this space of acceptance, where pleasure can flourish. Think of pleasure not as a destination, but as a way of being. The moment we free ourselves from the need to prove something or fit into predefined molds, we can fully step into the present. The present, after all, is where the magic happens, where we stop running toward the next thing. We realize that the fullness of life resides in the choices we make. I want to ask you a question, and I hope you answer it in the comments. The choices that you make today make you feel pleasure? Pleasure is not a goal to achieve, it's a territory to exist and cultivate. Clarice Lispector explored this complexity of being in her works. She was fascinated by the dualities of life, the internal and external, the mundane and the extraordinary. In her novel, The Hour of the Star, she writes, "I write to understand myself, and to not understand myself is the most profound thing." This phrase encapsulates the essence of what it means to find pleasure in being who we truly are. We are not one-dimensional beings to be understood and packaged neatly. We are layers upon layers of beauty and chaos. And to allow ourselves to exist within this complex web of contradictions is freeing and liberating. In the pleasure territory, you will find two important things: power and freedom. The freedom to be us, unapologetic, and the power to have the courage to be us. When we exist and cultivate the pleasure territory, the fear of judgment and rejection diminishes, and what remains is a profound sense of peace, as if the planet is pleased and happy for us to be exactly who we want to be. This state of being is not bound by social approval or external expectations. It exists because we are no longer playing a role. The moment we stop seeking validation outside ourselves and begin listening to our inner world, the pleasure of being who we are becomes a steady undercurrent of existence. It's not about constant happiness or perfection. It's about finding comfort and joy in the rhythm of our own lives, accepting our own flow of life, and allowing the pleasures that naturally arise from that acceptance to flow. The pleasure in being who we are is ultimately a radical act of self-love. It invites us to exist and be different, to show up in our truth, and to experience life without the burdens of behaving and following along. When we allow ourselves to experience our own life and desires, we open ourselves up to the vast ocean of sensations that life offers. And in doing so, we find that we are amazing creatures, so unique that is breathtaking even for ourselves. We are so capable of feeling fulfilled. We just have to be courageous and let ourselves to take the first step towards the pleasure territory. The question, why are you afraid of what excites you, invites us to go deeper than the surface of our fears. At its core, it asks, are you afraid of who you could become? Fear often masks itself as caution, holding us back from stepping into the unknown territory of growth and transformation. But what if, instead of fear, we choose curiosity? What if we allowed ourselves to dream freely, to imagine who we might become if we stopped holding back and started making choices that aligned with our deepest desires? There's a version of you waiting to emerge, the one who lives boldly, authentically, and unapologetically true to their dreams. Take a moment to reflect. If you could become anything, live anyway, or craft your life without restrictions, what would that vision look like? Would it be colorful, daring, peaceful, or adventurous? What sensations would fill your days? And how would it feel to live a life that excites you? This is an invitation to let go of the scripts others have written for you and instead take the pen into your own hands. Imagine living in alignment with the passions and pleasures that light you up from the inside, creating a life that is uniquely yours. It's not always easy, but the journey of stepping into this vision begins with the courageous step. Saying yes to what excites you and allowing it to guide you forward. If this video has sparked even a small shift in your perspective, helping you open your mind to embracing your own wishes, pleasures, and desires, I encourage you to give it a like. Share it with someone who might also need this reminder to live with more authenticity and courage. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. Don't forget to visit my website to explore my art, connect with my vision, and sign up for my newsletter to stay updated on what's to come. Your journey toward your true self is worth celebrating. See you soon. Bye.